Welcome back to day 2 of the 13th World Wushu Championships here in Jakarta at the historic Senayan. Yesterday we saw the first opening session that included Sanda and Taolu. Some big results in there. Let's have a look back at what happened.
China's Zhang prevailed over a fighter who could not mount a strategy to counter the Chinese fighter's excellent all-around striking and movement. The skillful Zhang controlled the platform, easily winning the first round by throwing his opponent off twice. And that was enough for the win in the men's 75 kilogram category. Russia's Muslim Salikov demonstrated why he has been such a dominant force in the sport of Sanda when he scored an extraordinary knockout with the only 2 punches he threw in the bout over Rob Williams of Australia in the first 10 seconds of the match. Poor Rob must have wondered what hit him. But then again, he was up against one of the best Sanda fighters in the world. Expectations on World Championship silver medalist Lindwell were huge ahead of the tournament in front of her adoring fans. But much to the delight of the crowd inside the Istora Senayan arena, she lived up to those expectations with aplomb. Grabbing one of 2 golds for the hosts on the opening day, hers coming in the Tai Chi fist, the relieved Lindwell was naturally delighted.
It feels great and I released, and this is the first medal for Indonesia, and my friends also got the gold medal, so we're very happy for this medal.
That's what happened yesterday, and I can tell you now from the Sanda Arena, there's some 40 bouts that are going to be happening throughout the day. Now, joining me here is Simon Wilcox, also from the commentary team. Simon, you've been watching Taolu. I know there's going to be some big knockouts in the Sanda Arena. What can we expect from Taolu today?
Well, we can't promise you any high-octane knockouts, Jeevan, but we do have a knockout of our own. It's local girl Lindwell, who took gold yesterday. She's up again today in the Tai Chi straight sword, and we hope that she'll keep the momentum going.
A bit of hometown action for the fans to follow. That's what's happening on day 2. You can, of course, catch all the highlights on www.worldwushu.tv. Let's get on with day 2. Welcome back to day 2 at the Istora Senayan in the Gelora Bung Karno Sports Complex in Jakarta. It is the 13th World Wushu Championships, and as you just saw, it's already kicked off yesterday with some great action in the afternoon session today. There's going to be 2 sessions, morning and afternoon. My name is Jeevan Salvanathan, and sitting next to me throughout the day will be Tony Sims, who is, of course, Wushu icon. I'm going to call him a Wushu icon. He's just going to be joining us in just a second. He's just going to check something with the judges, who are now lined up, as you can see, around the Taolu and Sanda arena. And it really has been, as you saw there, an impressive afternoon. Not only did movie star and Wushu icon Jet Li was in attendance to give the medals away, but we did, of course, see that 2-punch knockout by the 4-time previous champion Muslim Salikov. And right now, that's what's going to be happening for the opening session. The women get a chance to kick off their Sanda in the 48, 52, 56, 65 kilogram class. Of course, more classes coming up after that, and the men's will be following them as well. And this is the start list. I'm going to kick it all off with Vietnam taking on Brazil. Thi Huang against Edina Prado Camargo. And then we're going to have also, first time actually, that we're going to see a session so far that hasn't had an Indonesian representative, as you saw earlier. Indonesian winners, and that was just a summary of the first 2 contestants that will be, first 2 fighters that are ready to get into the Leitai. And at this point, I can introduce you once again to our resident Wushu expert, Tony Sims. Tony, thanks for joining us for day 2.
Oh, we're looking forward to an exciting day of fights.
It's going to be big. This is the first one up. Thi Huang from Vietnam versus Edina Prado Camargo. Not very much known about them, both fighting in the 48 kilo class. Should be fast.
Should be fast. Lightweights, and Vietnam is one of our stronger lightweight countries.
So once again, one of the revelations of this year's World Wushu Championship is that each of the judges has their own individual score displayed for everyone, not just the commentators, but the fans as well. So you can actually see the fight progress as you go through the 3 rounds. And in this opening round, a cagey start as we'd expect from the women. This is the first time they've been on the lei tai.
That's right.
Vietnam fighting in the red, Brazil fighting in the black. And Tony, was that a totally legitimate out?
It was a legitimate out, but that here you could see the fighter holding on for dear life, because as long as you're holding on to your opponent, they don't score points when you fall off the lei tai.
And that's odd to see headgear coming off this early in this first round.
That's how tightly she was holding on.
Don't be fooled by this headgear. It does protect your head, but as we saw yesterday for Robert Samuel Watson, it's not much protection when you've got a massive punch from Mustav Salikov coming in. Now this is interesting. Working the legs.
You see both fighters trying to feel each other out, really trying to get a sense here in this first 45 seconds of the fight.
Goes to grappling.
Black side down first.
So in terms of points right now, Vietnam streaking ahead. Early flurry.
You know, we just saw Brazil's first and only point there in the minute of the fight, so.
That was from that shared takedown.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Caught the leg well. So that takedown has now pushed Vietnam firmly in the lead. Looking good for this round with 50 seconds left.
So you can see that Vietnam knows the strategy to hold on. They are not being pushed off the lei tai without taking their partner with them.
Brazil has to be, Edinia has to be the one asking the questions here if she's going to get anything left from this round.
Well, you can see she's hesitant to throw up some kicks to get in there because Vietnam is strong with their takedowns.
So currently, I can tell you Vietnam possibly through Luan, well, definitely unanimous with the judges, about 5 punches or points ahead. That's another takedown. Interesting how that formed, actually.
That's right.
And as the beeper counts down, that's the last 10 seconds of the round. Well, a good solid start for Vietnam through Luan Thi Huang. And as you'll see from the scores that are about to be displayed on the main screen, unanimous decision for that round. Have a look at that, 10-4, 7-4, 11-6, 13-5, 10-4.
So hopefully the coaches are adjusting to this new display of the scores and can see the discrepancy in where their fighter is losing points.
That's got to be a whole new dimension to fighting, to know that's happening throughout the round.
It is. You usually only know if you're keeping track as you're watching the fight occur.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happens is that not every judge from every angle scores every point the same, with the exception of some like takedowns and things like that.
Yeah.
But punches and kicks you might not see from your angle, so you're not scoring. But generally there should be pretty strong agreement in the scoring for the judges.
Well, we have seen a couple of those discrepancies that you're talking about.
That's right.
But you're right, everything has essentially gone the right way. All these judges, of course, trained to look for exactly the same thing. So it really is just a question of perspective and viewpoint as to how they score it. But we have noticed with some of these really solid fighters that their fight is so clean that it seems to uniformly go up. As we get into round 2 here, not surprisingly, Vietnam coming in with a big takedown there. That should be early points.
These women have been waiting for a day to get to the lei tai.
That's right. Well, if it's anything like yesterday's session, then the second and third fights should see the real nerves.
That's right.
Come off, and then, oh, really, everything breaks loose. It's 4 points ahead for Vietnam here. unanimous by all judges. So Luan Tihuan can now, I suppose, have the comfort of possibly standing back, though it's not really something you'd associate with Sanda to stand back.
No, you see the platform referee motioning for Brazil to initiate a fight because there's too much passivity in the fight.
That is something that is very different from the likes of boxing, which I suppose is the most prevalent of ring sports known around the world. There you can, of course, avoid. And I'm not going to mention any names.
Sure.
You can if you like. But in certain fight sports, especially with one as disciplined as Wushu, you are in fact called together to fight. So in terms of scores, this is a clean round for Luan from Vietnam right now.
And you can see she's expending very little energy in between the points. Clean kicks, clean takedown.
Yeah.
And Brazil is really struggling with what to do.
Well, now losing momentum or losing the center of the fight, the center of the ring. As you get further and further away with the points, it becomes more and more difficult. You have to try more and more daring things if you're going to catch up, and that, of course, can leave you open. And that's why we're seeing a very high score here in the second round from Luan Tihuan.
Sure, we didn't see some men's rounds go this high.
She's being very clean indeed. Another good kick there.
As I mentioned, Vietnam's known for its strong lightweight fighters, so that depth extends to the women's side as well, it looks like.
Well, that was a nice punch. But I think it's too little too late for Adenia. And I think her World Wushu Championships might be over in about 2 seconds.
It's a good kick to the face. She'll have an opportunity to look back at this and learn. She fought a great fighter, and so she'll get a chance to look at this and really take away some experiences for what she needs to do in future fights.
And a good opener for the women's draw, 16-0, 12-1. Those are big scores there for Vietnam, as you said, just from clean contacts. And as we saw yesterday, the fighters on to pay respects not only to themselves and their opponents, but also their opponents' teams as well, and the referees and judges. That's one of the unifying forces of Sanda and the unifying forces of Wushu that we love to see. There's no war of words here, everything's all silent, and you leave your legacy within the Lei Tai. So that's our next match coming up. Zhang Luan from China taking on Lian Ru from Chinese Taipei. Now, I have asked you to introduce certain countries, Chinese Taipei, up there in Wushu, I'm expecting.
Well, it's most easy for a lot of the countries nearby to come to China and train.
Yeah.
Obviously here, mainland China is sending in a strong fighter. I watched her warm up a little bit, and she's strong. Chinese Taipei in some of the Taolu events, as we've mentioned, but not so known in Sanda, women's Sanda.
Well, Zhang Luan from China fighting in the red, and Lian Ru from Chinese Taipei in the black. Be interesting if Yen Ru knows the strength of her fight. Look at that, she knows the strength.
Yes, she knows.
She now knows exactly how strong her opponent is, and interesting the strategy she's going to pull to try and score some points here. That was a big takedown. It was shared, just a point there for Zhang Luan.
You know, Yen has a side kick. I saw her side kick, but she also knows that China has a strong side kick. So you see her trying to measure her technique because she knows that China will have strong techniques on the ground, in the air. Look at the balance.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was almost a rising knee. It was really, and you can see just keeping about 3 or 4 feet away, just out of leg distance and out of punch distance. But I'm assuming, while China just racing ahead and Taipei still to score in this round. Wow, that was a crunching clash of heads. How do you distinguish men's and women's Sanda? Well, the ponytail goes down. That's basically what we saw there.
You will see Zhang using that standing leg and actually coming in. She's a shorter fighter, so she has to make up the distance. You see her making up the distance off of 1 foot coming in.
That's incredible. And then, if she can, just grab
Look
and
at her.
still has denied a point
That's right.
to Lai Yanru from Chinese Taipei. Still looking for a first point. There's another kick there.
Her lower body strength allows her to even take her opponent down, who's taller than her.
Ah, that's a solid move there from Zhang. So she hits double figures with one of the judges, and still, believe it or not, in this entire round, this is the first time we've seen nobody score a point. Taipei, Chinese Taipei and Lai Yanru looking for a first point from all 5 judges with 11 seconds to go. There's the beeper.
So here's a case where the fighter has the reach over their opponent, but Zhang is so strong, she's not allowing her to get in and use the reach.
Was it perhaps also a little bit too cautious from Lai Yanru?
For sure. She knows that she's fighting a strong fighter.
That's a clean result, 8-4, 6-12, 7, with 0 points coming on the way back. Now, this is going to be something that, as a fighter, you're going to go back to your corner and think, well, that was a perfect round.
Except her coaches are coaching her on what she can improve on. This is ever the way.
Now, you said that you did see her training earlier. Now, looking at the other corner now, well, no points yet. Looking for a start to the campaign, a start to a World Championships in the second round.
Sure. You see him talking to her about the thigh kick. You see him talking to her movement. Again, this is practice for the next fight coming up.
Exactly. On that note, Tony, you just reminded me about some of the incredible draws that are going to be happening over the next 2 days. I should get to those in a second as we get into round 2 here. This the second fight of the morning session.
Say, Jeevan, you know, Taipei has nothing to lose, everything to gain here, going out to fight. You fight your best fight in the second round.
Yeah. Well, knocked out the ring again.
That's right.
But her first 2 points have been awarded.
That's right.
I can tell you by judge number 2. So, a start. It's a little glimmer. Let's see what she can do. And you can just see Zhang Luan doing exactly as you said, Tony, trying to bridge that gap.
That's right. It's China's fight to lose, so getting in there doesn't hurt Taipei.
Yeah. So, a couple more points for Lai
Look at that.
Yanru.
Look at the
that.
speed
That was a
on that kick. That's
fantastic
right.
kick. And seems adept at just moving around on one foot.
One leg. This is extensive training from balance. Lower center of gravity as a smaller fighter, and she's able to push out a kick as fast as a punch.
That is devastating. We're going to look forward to more fights from Zhang Luan over the coming 4 or 5 days.
You see this round is a low-scoring round, largely because Taipei's not mixing it up there.
Yeah, and staying out of reach.
Right.
But even then,
Right.
with those aggressive moves forward, Zhang Luan has managed to engineer at least a 3-point average lead.
So you saw her coach talking to her about using her legs. Almost every point that China has scored has been with her legs.
Well, that's the first one there with a punch and a
That's
takedown.
right, takedown.
But very strong arm strength there as well. It's just one arm really to shift Lai Yanru out of balance.
China's legs are strong, so this is an opportunity to practice that kick and timing in the fight situation. So you see her at will, attacking with the legs, leading with the legs, and then the hands.
Well, another good flurry there in the end, and a good last-ditch attempt from Chinese Taipei's Lai Yanru, but not enough. All in all, she scored about 6 points. There you go, a couple of points in there, but double digits for China as well. Another good performance and solid. And as you said, you saw her train, and we're going to look forward to where she's going. I'm actually going to check where Zhang Luan is going in the draw. Up next, I can tell you, as we see the fighters once again congratulating each other.
We have Italy and Kazakhstan coming up next here.
Oh, that should be interesting. I do know that in terms of European Wushu, thanks to the likes of Jade Zhu, who represented Italy, of course. There has been movements for Italy, going to be fighting in the red for this next bout. And Laura Zapala is the fighter moving in, and Perizat Muratova from Kazakhstan. So this is fight 3. So far, 2 straight round wins for Luan Ti Huang and Zhang Luan. Here we go. Italy fighting out the red, Kazakhstan fighting out of the black. Both fighters just getting their gear checked out.
Here we have a case of the referee making sure that the gear is properly adjusted there. Novita's a very experienced hometown favorite national, international platform referee.
An Indonesian referee and an Italian and Kazakhstani fighter. Whoever said Wushu was just Chinese?
That's right. Here we see the diversity.
Wow, this is good bouncing movement from both of them. It looks like it's going to be a very close fight here so far. Went for the grab, turns into the grapple, gets countered.
In contrast, you don't, although it's the same weight category, you don't see the same leg and hand speed.
Yeah.
Lot more fighting, pretty evenly matched opponents so far.
That's right, they do actually look more, in terms of spirit,
That's right.
balanced.
Sure.
As we saw just now with Chinese Taipei, a little bit scared in a sense as to what could happen, and by that happening she was picked off by Zhang Luan from China. This one is a little bit more, both fighters looking for a big opening round, and they're pretty much balanced out on points right now. Good punch in there.
We've seen a lot more punching in the first round of this fight than we did in the entire of the last fight. But as you said, both fighters feel as if they are evenly matched, so they're willing to take the risk to get inside and mix it up.
They both have something to prove, and it's good to see. So far we've seen all 3 forms, well, not 3 forms, 3 zones we should say, of Sanda. We've seen some punches, we've seen some basic kicks and a couple of takedowns as well. And both willing to go into that toe-to-toe space. And as a result, balanced on points. And it is good to see all the points accruing, because it just shows you how balanced it is in terms of the judging scales.
The height differential is very similar here, right? Not much difference in height between these two fighters, so the reach is about the same. When they get in, they're locking up, but they really have to mix it up in order to get ahead.
No, I can tell you, just one judge right now has pushed Kazakhstan ahead in the points. Apart from that, it's absolutely level.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Well, it looks like Kazakhstan's Perizat Muratova is going to shade that. It's going to be a great boost for her. Laura Zapala is going to have the comeback talk from her coach.
Steeper hill to climb when you're one round down.
Yeah, look how close those scores are.
Sure. In the case of Zapala, she knows that she's just gone 2 minutes and seen most of the techniques. So this is where the coaches, you can see them furiously talking here. This is where the coaches try and make a difference in strategy for the opponent.
Yeah, you can see that definitely happening for Perizat Muratova here. And I've always wondered from commentary boxes for various disciplines in sports as to exactly what it's saying. We use microphones and then find out exactly what's going on, but of course that's going to break the code.
We'd need to have a translator too.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they'd start giving decoy plans out for them that everybody else would know, because in the end it's between fighter and coach as to what happens in that late tie. So Perizat, not surprisingly,
about to get a penalty if she doesn't get up soon. You know, when you don't come out of your corner as the referee's called you, you run the risk of the penalty.
So round 2 And another opening flurry from both fighters. Quick points on the board.
You see Zapala trying to earn some points with the roundhouse kick to the torso.
Backing up a little bit, but coming back. A strong right there.
Here's where both girls would benefit from a better jab, just a straight jab. All of the punches are sort of swinging out, and they need that jab to set up that hook.
That's a spinning back fist. Right, it didn't connect, so the points are still very balanced. In fact, it's Perizat Muratova again, shading it by just a point so far. It's a good chance for Laura Zapala to take this round. That front kick didn't connect. No, it did. But still, the takedown means that
the kick shouldn't be counted because it was grabbed.
It was grabbed.
Right.
It was counted. Yeah.
There's a jab from Muratova. Here's a case where just a takedown, a couple of techniques starts to create that spread for Kazakhstan just a little bit more, stretching away.
Well, the good combo of punches from two jabs just now has given her what could be the insurmountable lead with 35 seconds left. Now that was a good comeback from Laura. Got out of the pretty easily, pretty well. Both fighters looking a little bit more tired now.
Here's where you see the difference in the lack of precision. So a lot of those legs that are going up are not scoring kicks. Going up, that's a kick. That's a clean kick from Kazakhstan.
Laura Zapala is looking a little bit tired, and with that, yes, definitely, look at that. A clean round for Perizat Muratova. I think so far the strongest fighter we have to say we've seen is Zhang Wan in the previous. Now, how would she match up against Perizat? That's interesting to see, something we'll see later on.
We may see that later on, but there's a huge difference in speed that we saw in China. Both of these women fighters, speed was around the same. The level of speed we saw in the previous fight was just a level above. But both of these women put out a lot of energy for the fight. That's why you see
how happy Perizat Muratova is, and a little bit dejected from Laura Zapala. That's our next matchup. We're getting through the first 16 bouts this morning session. That is Najwa Issa and Kim Hai Bin. And if I'm right, that's Liberia versus Korea.
That's right.
It's even more cosmopolitan.
You're correct.
Liberian Wushu. Wow. Good to know.
Some of the countries we actually see competitors in both Sanda and Taolu, and then other countries it's just in Sanda. So I don't know. Have to do some research to find out if Liberia actually has some folks doing Taolu. But for sure, Korea has both.
But it is good to see, and just as you said earlier, it just really does highlight how international and cosmopolitan Wushu actually is.
So much so that we have men and women Sanda fighters fighting, not just male Sanda fighters. We saw one fighter from Korea yesterday, one man, I think.
Well, with the prevalence of Taekwondo, of course, in Korea, very kick-based martial arts, you'd expect.
To your point, the first things you've seen from Korea are kicks.
Yeah.
Side kick, roundhouse kick.
Let's grow up with those.
And the spinning.
And the second one.
And
Korea fighting in the black, of course, Liberia.
Quick takedown for Korea. Another takedown. So
well, the points are just racking up for Korea. And they are very Taekwondo-based moves, really.
In the first 30 seconds of the fight, no less.
Korea's already up 6 points on average with the judges, no points yet for Najwa Issa.
She's off the platform.
She's off the platform as well.
So here you can see the lack of fighting experience, perhaps. Not just the Sanda experience, because she's off for the second time.
And that
round
is over, so no points for Najwa Issa with a second fall off.
45-second round for her.
And still, of course, doesn't beat the record set by Muslim Salikov already as a 10-second round. In fact, that was a 10-second fight.
We might not beat that, except for some of Muslim's fights.
Yeah, it's his own personal highlights collection.
Right.
By the way, if you want to talk about highlights, you want to watch them, then you can watch all the highlights from these first 2 days of action on www.World Wushu TV. That's where all of this is being archived. Of course, you can see 3 separate streams. So if you're interested in the Taolu, that's also been happening in the morning session as well. Some beautiful works happening there as we look at the highlights from round 1. And Kim Hai-bin ahead now and looking very focused there indeed and ready to go.
She knows that she just needs to continue doing what she's done so far, and here's another case where she can practice for the next fight. The other opponent hasn't been able to hurt her. She hasn't taken her down. She's been able to score with her kicks.
Yep. And then we see her. And there is just so much difference, as you said yesterday, in terms of body language, in terms of general, eye movement. You can see the focus.
Sure.
The determination.
Korea's still standing, waiting to get on. She's waiting for the platform referee to come up. In this case, Liberia doesn't feel tired. It's just what strategy do I use?
What do I use? And I haven't got much time to execute it either. So round 2.
Look at Korea control the center of the platform, right?
Yeah, always comes back. Look at that.
Wow.
That was a kicking knockout.
Jumping, spinning roundhouse kick to the face that sends her down, and the fight was over.
That is over.
Probably
she's
over.
shaky. Najwa Issa is shaky. We were just talking. No, continuing. Yes. I can't see this continuing for very much longer.
Count it to 10 in Chinese. It's done. She's still a little wobbly. Doesn't know. Look at her balance.
Wow.
They're trying to tell her to hold her up.
Now that, of course, you got to realize when people get knocked out, there's a lot of chemicals that actually mix in the brain. That's why you lose your general motion control, and it is a very dangerous situation if you keep people that have been knocked out. That was the term you had just then was perfect. That was a spinning,
jumping, spinning roundhouse kick to the face. I'm sure we'll see it on the highlight.
Well, that's amazing. That was going to put.
She jumped and did one kick, and then she spun and used a roundhouse kick to the face. So
I think we're moving on to the next match now. We'll get back to those highlights later on. A lot of bouts to get through this morning, of course. Özlem Çiçek, another Turkish fighter, taking on Manel Geribi, Tunisia. So this very close.
So that's is that our second? That's our first TKO of the day.
Yeah.
We had 2 yesterday's. Yesterday's session.
It's a good return so far in terms of sessions, and that was well executed. As you said, she'd already won the fight pretty much, so it was picking it out.
The technique that when I said that this is the time for her to just practice some things, that technique is a risky move, right? You don't do that with a fighter that's going to come in and throw you down when you jump. So she knew that now we have Turkey's typically a strong fight.
Turkey in the all red. With the track bottoms on, and Tunisia in the black shorts. Great control there from Özlem, who just is moving in with absolutely no abandon. Taken off. It was a dual jump there. Points evenly being spread out in this first round. So still no deciding rounds as of yet throughout the day. We've seen some big moves, we've seen some solid performances from the likes of Zhang Luan and Kim Hai Bin.
There's a spinning back fist for you from Turkey. Both women clinching a lot. So when you clinch, the time is stopped. So the round ends up being a little bit longer. And now we hear the crowd, the Turkey, pushing their fighter along.
Yeah, they're actually all around us right now. Great to see such fervent support, and a big shout to all the people that have come down to the Istora Senayan in the heart of Jakarta for not just this morning session, but yesterday's afternoon session as well. Plenty more wushu to come this week. Now, in terms of points, pretty balanced up, Tony, so far between Turkey and Tunisia here.
A lot of that is from the fact that both women are clinching a lot. They're not giving up much ground. But we also are not seeing a lot of technique from either woman yet. Very cautious. Turkey's active fighter.
Yeah, Turkey definitely the more active, moving into the space a lot more. Tunisia standing off a little bit, but you're right, with these clenches has managed to even it up at around 4 points each. Turkey with that flurry just pushing it, and that's a legitimate fallout.
Legitimate fallout, but just a matter of her losing the grip at the end because she held onto her, and you see Turkey trying to get her off one more time.
And I think that all might happen, but she's gone off as well.
Tunisia's been pretty good about making sure that she holds on. That last time she let go just a little too soon and cost her 2 points.
Well, that's strategic, but by being the more active fighter, the points do reflect it. And Turkey now streaking ahead. Should be good for this round with 15 seconds left.
Sure. It's a lot of ground to cover in 10 seconds with an active fighter, and she's off, both women off. I think this is probably the second, third time both women have been off the platform, and we're just in the first round.
Yeah. So 6 seconds left. Clock being stopped frequently. And there's another clench to end the round. But if you look at the points that will be displayed on the main screen, good round for Turkey. Look at that, 8-5, 10-3, 10-5, 10-3, 11-4. And that really just from being the more aggressive fighter.
Absolutely. You take away the push-off that was worth 2 points and a couple of other things, it's the aggression and the fighting. She scored some punches with some kicks. The other opponent didn't score.
And it is good to see that, as I said, that this point system, the judging system, now clearly revealed for everyone, is so in line with the type of fighter that you have and the type of fight that you're watching. So if you have a clenching fight in conjunction with a stop clock,
you get to see where people are actually scoring points and where often the audience didn't know. I saw a lot of kicks, a lot of punches, but they didn't realize that they didn't hit scoring targets or they weren't clean hits.
So Turkey in the red full.
We have a little something brewing over here with Tunisia.
Well, yes, the fight has been not stopped yet, but definitely suspended at the 1 round mark as the referees, as you can see on the screen, are in deep discussion.
This is the assistant head judge. It looks like they may be
calling the fight.
Well, it looks like they may be mounting some kind of dispute, but
well, as soon as we get more details on that, we'll let you know. But right now, as you can see, the judges are all in deep discussion.
I'll tell you what I think it is. There was a low kick earlier, and I saw the fighter complain that maybe it was a low kick to the groin. Looks like they were concerned that it wasn't called. But this fighter, that happens in a fight, and you move on. So you see the coaches doing exactly what they should do, prepping their fighter because they have another round to come up.
Now, I have to ask though, if you have a length of space of time that is overextended between rounds, that's got to shift your focus a little bit, right?
Absolutely. This is why you saw the chief judges table telling them, because They're very methodical about the break was for a minute. If there's a reason for a medical timeout, we take care of that. If there's something that people need to make an appeal to the jury, there's a procedure for that, but it should not stop the flow of the fight.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're back on now. As I said, as soon as we get more details on that, we will let you know. But for now, round 2 is underway. Both fighters looking okay. Well, thankfully, it wasn't a significant telling medical emergency. Now, as you'd imagine, just resetting themselves. But again, Turkey comes out firing. Robert, do you know what happened just then? Well, both fighters out there, Tony.
That's an example of Tunisia knowing to hold on. She used that strategy effectively earlier with the one exception, and she's showing that she can use it again. Turkey's still not giving up much ground, but Tunisia is trying to neutralize that with the clinch.
Well, she might have to think of something a little bit more dynamic, being the second round, being a
There
round
she
down.
has a takedown.
That's very nice.
She actually caught the roundhouse kick and had a takedown.
And solid points there, which has at least got her back in this round with 1:18 left.
Sure.
That was an important takedown for Manel Garibi.
She's a technique. He's just warning her for using a knee. So Tunisia just earned 2 points there from that penalty on Turkey's part.
Actually taken the lead. We might actually get that's a warning given to Turkey.
So we can see the score maybe 1 point away, and some judges have it tied. So
and that really has, in the last 15 seconds of this fight, brought it. Big slip. Big slip from Tunisia, and that could be costly. It is.
This is where having your coaches tell you how close you are. That slip was 2 points away from a tie, so she can get it back, but you have to put some techniques out there. She just got it with the roundhouse kick to the face.
Yeah. And that has put Turkey back ahead.
You see
but this is a really close round to call.
Coaches from Turkey realize how close this is, and they're calling out to their fighter. But this is where there's a jab, some swinging punches, but this is where Tunisia needs to be guided.
Yeah.
See a little separation from judge number 2, but the rest of them have them within a couple points.
And it just looks like Özlem Çiçek might shade this round, and Tunisia kind of running out of ideas a little bit.
Running out of ideas and running out of a bit of energy. You see there,
it's gonna be tough.
Turkey looks pretty strong, knows that she has a round in already. We're 21 seconds into the fight, into the end of the round. And you see very little action coming from Tunisia right now, trying to be strategic about where she expends that energy and not have a takedown.
Great takedown there. And that should seal the deal for Turkey for another 2-round win.
5 seconds left. You can't cover that much ground.
She's at least 3, maybe 4 points. And that equates to punches. And with the gong, it's a good win for Özlem Çiçek.
It's a good win for Turkey and good experience for Tunisia. When she goes back to review this fight, she'll see where she could have improved.
Exactly, and you know, it was good to see Turkey and through Özlem actually battling through whatever Tunisia was coming through. As you can just see on the replays there, she was up to anything that came her way.
You can see with the fighter that Turkey realized at some point, this fighter's coming back on me, and the coaches urging her on to get some more points. At one point, we were tied again in that second round.
And it is amazing to see the difference in, well, just energy and attitude at the end of these fights. Remember that with 2 rounds, you're essentially talking about 4 minutes later. 4 minutes later, One of them is still as active, and the other one a little bit more tired, a little bit more
Tired and
dejected.
dejected.
Yeah.
That's tired and dejected. It's tough. This single round elimination, so she doesn't get a chance to come back again. We have a default here. I understand from a little background work that default is actually due to the fighter not making weight.
Right.
A matter of grams.
That was meant to be the bout number 6, Mariam Chabuni versus Ling Ling Liu. So that has been awarded to red because of a weight discrepancy.
Right. Apparently, Tunisia didn't make weight.
So here we're moving on to bout number 7 now, which is Vietnam taking on Australia. Now, Australia haven't had the best of luck so far at the Sanda Thai.
Well, we'll see what the women fighters.
Amanda Ann Cass for Australia taking on Hoai Tu Nguyen. Vietnam in the red, Australia in the black.
You can see Vietnam off to a strong start.
This is reminiscent of the first fight that we saw this morning. Luan Thi Huang came out the same way. Wow, this looks like it's going to be a good crunching affair. There's a lot of activity from both. There's a
the speed of
kick,
speed of that roundhouse kick. These are tall women, but as you can see, Vietnam has some speed on her legs, so she'll use that to an advantage.
That speed again. It is fast and refusing to go down.
Australia looks like she's a tall, sturdy woman, so she's not going down easily.
So far, just 2 points for Amanda and Cass, whereas Hua has really started racking up the points with the judges. Already about to hit double figures in a couple of places. That's from just a good, uniform attack.
50 seconds into the fight and you're in double digits, you know you've been putting out a lot of techniques.
That's right.
A lot of techniques that are scoring. The punches that Australia's throwing while in the clinch don't count. So while they may tire you out, see Vietnam trying to use that leg to look at that roundhouse kick scoring. That's how she's in double digits.
Well, we just noticed from the Vietnamese fighters and, of course, Zhang Luan earlier that being able to fight off 1 foot essentially can make the difference, and she has hit double figures. 3 of the judges now.
The one that she's not in double digits with a judge is 8-0.
Yeah.
Just
4 points registered so far for Amanda and Cass, so a lot to talk about with her coaches after this. 25 seconds left to go. And as you can hear, she's getting a lot of support from
almost off the platform.
The fans around the stadium. A lot of support.
Good push kick there.
Well, as the beeper sounds for the last 10 seconds, it's a good round for Hoai Tu Nguyen.
So, 3 seconds
yeah,
left.
Last 3 seconds. Can't miss out the last 3 seconds. But she sprints off to her coaches, who are going to be very happy. Look at those
scores.
Look
at that, even 17-0 on one judge's
14,
scorecard.
10, 11, 13. Wow, just 4 points awarded to Amanda and Cass off 5 judges. A lot to do there. Now, as you said, she's a sturdy woman. As we see here, how she holds up. But that's a great avoidance of a takedown defense there.
She almost got red. She almost got red down. But look at the speed of the roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
Vietnam is slipping the roundhouse kick in, and every time that's 2 points. You figure between 5 kicks, you're 10 points up.
Yeah. And so now here's Amanda Cass.
Cass is a tall woman. If she's able to work a jab and get some points from the jab, but you're not going to get those points when you're in the clinch all the time.
Yeah.
So while Vietnam is using this fighting space, she's able to slip in a fast kick. We don't see those same kicks coming from Australia.
And she's a slightly taller woman as well. She could. That's going to be a very dangerous strategy. Of course, by being in the clinch, she negates the kick immediately, and that's exactly what Hua has come up and done. She has to avoid that, start getting some of these jabs in. 2 points already because of that kick.
Smash her in!
Judges.
She threw up 1 kick, Vietnam threw up another kick, and then she has a takedown.
Get up!
So
Come on, Amanda!
already Lots of scoring from Vietnam and
another
immediately straight in.
She knows that this roundhouse kick is her go-to kick here for Vietnam. So I'd expect within the next 5 seconds you'll see another attempt at a roundhouse kick from Vietnam. Let's see. There you go.
There you go. And look at that takedown.
Because you see the energy drain. So there's a physical energy drain, but more than that is the mental energy. Australia knows that she's scoring, her opponent's scoring, you see?
Yeah.
Job, mate!
Currently just a bit too quick for Amanda and Cass, doing her best. Needs to connect a bit more. Vietnam ahead on points as you'd expect in this second round, but it's just a good solid performance coming out from them.
So if you recall in the first round, they clinched and she wasn't able to take her down. Now when she clinches, Vietnam is actually taking her down. She's taking her over.
And that, as you might say, might be preparing for the next. She's double digits again. It's a really good performance by the Vietnamese fighters.
14-0, you know, not far from, you know,
a clean sweep.
And the head table calling the fight, but Australia still is very alert. But when you look at a 14-0 discrepancy in the fight, sometimes it's as if the level is so different they need to call the fight. But at this point, Australia's a strong woman, so.
Well, less than a minute to go in this second round, and we have to feel for Amanda and Cass, who has gone out there and he tried to do the best, but has been essentially caught by a very good performance from the second Vietnamese woman that we've seen today in the Lei Tai.
So one of the things that we see here is a difference in strategy. Vietnam knows that she has a strategy. She's using her kick to close the distance. She's keeping her opponent away. She's pushing. You see the strategy. You don't see as clear a strategy from Australia. She's still trying to get in. Every time she gets in, there's a kick coming her way.
Well, there's another, and every time she walks in,
there's a kick coming.
There's a kick and there's a punch, and it's like an immediate point, and then looking for the bigger points after that. And I can tell you now, it's an incredible scoring run she's been on.
Both rounds.
Both rounds, and with 12 seconds left, you have to say that she's probably going to hit 20.
As she gets a punch, she got a punch in.
Wow, nice little flurry from Amanda and Cass at the end.
Oh, that was a great roundhouse kick to the face. We're up to 20.
Yeah, great solid performance from Hua Tu Nguyen. You have to feel, look at those scores, 22, 10-2, 17-2, 21, 15-2, really solid indeed. And another one of the starred performances from this morning session. We saw another strong Vietnamese fighter earlier on, that was Wan Thi Huang. She also came through against Adenia Prado Camargo in the first bout as the two fighters shake hands. I can tell you at the last Wushu World Championships back in 2013, being a biennial tournament in Kuala Lumpur, the Vietnam actually turned up 4th in the medal table. It's 3 golds, 6 silvers, and 3 bronzes. That's a good haul from them. There's just Malaysia, Iran, and of course China above them.
That's where you see the depth in that team. You see the depth in the team.
Now up next we have Krista Dyer and Hergy Bakyadan from the Philippines.
We can expect a good fight from the Philippines for this weight category.
Definitely.
She's got good reach. You see the height advantage that she has here.
Well, this is the first time we've really seen a height differential between the two fighters. So Krista Dyer in the black, and
look at her leg strength. Look at the leg strength of the Philippines. Look at that.
Immediately straight in with the flying knee.
Right away.
Oh, fell out the ring.
She scored punches and then lost. Look at this. We might see.
Wow, this is just a real.
It's a brawl.
It's a brawl. It's brutal from the start.
Great Britain is strong. She's going for it. Not Great Britain here.
And Krista Dyer.
You see her trying to push. She just lost 2 points. She's trying to push. She's trying to sort of woman handle the fighter, and the Philippines is not having that.
But I can tell you something, this incredible flurry of attack and movement has led to some great scoring. And it's the Philippines up ahead right now.
It might be. So the Philippines.
We were talking about international fighters. Krista Dyer, of course, from Bermuda.
From Bermuda.
You never really associate wushu with that place,
No.
but...
And it looks like she...
Well, she did well in that
won
opening
that
round,
round.
but it has to be said that Peggy Bakyadan from the Philippines was scoring highly, so I think it was...
Matter of going off
Yeah, it was a matter
the
of
late
going off
tie.
in the end, and that's going to be frustrating for them.
You see her determined not to be pushed off the lei tai again. She scored.
Wow,
what
big
a great
punch.
jab. And
Massive.
you see Bermuda just trying to push off the lei tai. She's strong. Bermuda's strong.
Yeah.
It's a case where the Philippines needs to get inside the middle of the lei tai and control, because once you're back to that warning line, you're too close, and Bermuda's going to try and push off again.
Well, that's now just turned the tables a bit from the initial opening flurry in this fight. 1 round to Bermuda.
Look at that. Look at that reverse for Philippines on the edge of a takedown from Bermuda, and then she reverses.
No, it's good strategy. That's given her a lot of points as well and put her ahead in the round.
But you see here, Bermuda is occupying, you see this?
Well,
This is a case of not occupying the center of the ring. She's ahead on points,
Yeah.
and Bermuda's keeping the center. Look at how close she is to the warning line
this could
again.
be incredible if Bermuda pulls off a win here.
No,
Being
no count.
behind, no count.
Bermuda, the Philippines held on to the glove. But this is where, the Philippines is ahead on points. This is where she needs to be standing on the logo instead of Bermuda standing in the center.
Now just tracking around. It's not a good strategy.
There's Bermuda down. That's the second time Bermuda in pushing has gone down and lost points.
Well, it might come down to, with the Philippines just racking up points, Hergy Bakyadan is now at least 6 points ahead in terms of the judges, but just not, as you said, marshalling that central point.
Bermuda is trying to go for the push off. She has one push already. If she pushes her off a second time, she has the round.
And in fact, the fight.
That's right, and the fight. And the Philippines is just, each time, you see how close she is to being pushed off.
Oh, so now Hergy Bakyadan is just fighting to keep alive in this round.
She just received a penalty for asking for a timeout for no apparent reason. She's winded, so Bermuda may get the second push off if she's not careful.
Well,
Look at that.
she's running for it now, is Krista Dyer. She's looking for it. There's a takedown. She's got a point. Now the clock has been stopped at 12 seconds.
Philippines needs to get their fighter back to the center, because with 12 seconds, you can bet that Bermuda's looking to push off the ring again.
There's another clinch. That's going to be stopped again at 8. Now the points are still in favor of the Philippine fighter.
She just has to hang on. It's a nail biter, right? Jeeves, it's a nail.
It's down to the last seconds.
She made it.
Wow.
We're up to 3. We'll see a third round.
This is our first deciding round of the day, and Hergy Bakyadan, as you can see from the scores, was ahead throughout that entire round, and then really was hanging on for dear life at the end of it. As Krista Dyer, you couldn't see this on the screen, but Krista Dyer's coaches and team were really off their seats looking for that second fallout.
So here's a situation where the Philippines is winded. You see a lot of
Yeah.
energy expended. Krista Daya's strategy the entire fight has been to push the opponent off, and she's got some strong lower body strength.
Yeah.
Great lower body strength. So she'll be looking to come into this round and win the round by pushing the Philippine fighter off of the lei tai. And if she doesn't have the energy to resist that
Yeah.
push,
Then
the
it
fight's
was
over.
that explains the runaround at
That's
the
right.
end, essentially.
That's
Now, I wonder what Krista Dyer is going to do now. She has been behind on points for both rounds so far, but it is tied at one
she's
apiece.
the aggressor. Look at her. She's the aggressor.
She's definitely come out more confident, that's for certain. Now, it looks like Hergy Bakia down from the Philippines still hasn't quite recovered and might be in a bit of trouble here because she's ahead on points from that kick. There's another kick that's going to score.
Here's a case where a fighter, where we have 2 rounds, we're even on rounds, right? But Krista Dyer knows that a round is as simple as pushing her opponent off. She
Yeah.
won 1 round already that way.
Now, I wonder if we're going to see Krista on top of the push-off strategy, and you can just see her coaches
That's right.
just goading her on. If she could just maybe, yeah, it's a good side kick.
She scored 1 point on the punch. We're into the first 30, 45 seconds of the fight.
Now, I wonder if she's going to try and link up the punches and the kicks, just really put her opponent off guard before trying to go for the push-off. Well, that's...
Let's see who gets that. Looks like Haifong went down first.
So,
You see
more
the
points falling in the bag for the Philippines, but
she got a
really-
good roundhouse in. And Krista Dyer is getting a punch in now and then. She's getting a warning for holding. But
lots of admonitions and warnings coming.
yeah,
50 seconds left in the deciding round, our first decided
there's a
third
punch.
round.
Good jab from both women. But you see the energy level for the Philippines. She's hanging in here, but it's tough. Krista Dyer not really sure where to go.
Well, she's going to have to. Krista Dyer's only about 2 points off on this round. A couple of good punches should do it. The clench gets stopped at 27 seconds. There's about 2 points.
Again, it's close enough. She got a roundhouse kick in that was scored, and she just took a takedown and earned 2 more points
Well,
there.
that was a
She
very,
might be
very important passage of
very important.
fighting for the
With
Philippines.
16 seconds left to the fight, she can just hold on.
Went for more points in there. Punches should. Oh, let's not get the
She got her
takedown.
down again.
Yep.
She was able to get her down.
Well, when you do see these scores, it has been a colossal effort from Hergy Bakinan of the Philippines to not just stay in this fight, but to come out the winner, and she does. As you can see, she punches the air 10-4, 7-2, 10-2, 11-5, 9-2, and in all honesty, Tony, she was out of breath for 2 rounds.
Absolutely. She fought this 3rd round completely low energy. And that just shows you her stamina and strength. Look at that takedown.
She found the perfect position for it. That was really well done from Hergy Bakinan.
And she fought a very determined Bermuda fighter.
Well, you have to give Krista Dyer the respect she deserves for getting one of those rounds. And she was at one point 2 seconds away from winning the fight.
Absolutely.
With the second fall off possibly coming. So that is our first fight that has been, our first bout, sorry, that has been decided by a 3rd round. And I wonder if we'll see that again now as Russia take on France. Kazbek Mamaev versus
65 kilograms. In the red side,
Kevin Lim.
As
As we move to the men's 65. And
So
that
this
was
is-
that was the final women's Sanda fight that we'll see this morning. And now we move to 65 kilo class for the men's, continue that category all the way to the end of the morning session.
Again, we see the true international face of Wushu,
Yeah.
Kevin Lim from France.
Exactly. We are in a world now where there have been so many branches out of information and knowledge and skills and expertise that It's great to see it melding on a stage like this. So the men take to the Leitai. But good performances from the women before we start. Luan Tui Huang was fantastic. Kim Hai Bin, the Korean, and then Hua Thi Nien as well, the other Vietnamese fighter.
We have some fast hands coming out from this 65 kilogram fight. This will be a great fight.
65 kilogram, just in the middle there in terms of weight and speed. And look at that, kicks and fists coming out. Both fighters looking hungry for this one, Tony.
What a great takedown we just saw from Russia there, hooking the leg.
So Kazbek Mamiev in the red for Russia and Kevin Lim in the black for France.
Push kick to the face using his long legs there. And what a great maneuver. However, his fist touching down lost him 2 points.
So Russia now screaming ahead with the points. And again, headgear gets, well, again, it's the first bout of the class, so you can expect it. They have been waiting.
These are very active fighters.
Wow, that's
the hands,
great
look at the hands. Both guys, lots of hooks coming in there.
And there's a reverse back kick in the middle of that as well. So that's good movement from France. They have to get back in this, scoring points well now.
You see a lot of respect from each fighter. They know that they have to keep a safe fighting distance and know what they're doing when they get in there. Because of that, because of the hands and feet, both of them demonstrating great agility with the punches and the kicks.
Well, just out of reach for Kazbek. He's ahead on points. Possibly not after this flurry. Clench is stopped at 31 seconds. And Kevin Lim is fighting his way back into this round.
Most of the points that each of these fighters have generated have been off punches. Fast hands from both guys, not a lot of kicks scoring.
Well, it looks like Kazbek Mamiev of Russia is going to just shade this opening round, but he's not out of it yet, Kevin Lim. It's just a good, solid performance.
It's a good fight.
And you go 8-4, 7-2, 7-1, 7-6, 7-5. It was close, considering that Kazbek was way ahead till about 40 seconds left in that fight. And then as you can see, Kevin Lim coming back with some good fists, some good kicks, and some great movement.
Against a lesser fighter, France would probably have won that round, but he's with that pipeline I talked about from Russia.
Well, that's right, yeah. It's all about having that system in place that they can come through. Both fighters still looking very focused after the first round. I think both have kept faith in their plans. And they realized that that was a very close round to kick it off, so I don't think we'll see much difference this time around.
There's no reason for Russia to change anything that they've done. And for Kevin,
it was working, and he was definitely in the last half of that round really pulling off a lot of points.
Let's see what we have.
The winner of this fight will go through to meet Sharim Denimzayev in the round of 16. Oh, big kicks.
Oh, wow.
That was
rare that you see a fighter off with both feet off, so that was strong. And he's trying to just come back. Look at how strong Russia is.
Wow, that was...
That entire
really
exchange happened on one leg the last couple of seconds.
And he still managed to, and that's another call to get that headgear strapped up.
Just got a penalty.
Well ahead on points, and Russia still coming through. Big kicks and big punches. There's confirmation of that admonition. Kevin Lim has received, but Kazbek Mamaev is really streaking ahead here. He has no fear.
To be clear, Kevin Lim is not throwing up a bad fight. It's just that he's with a very strong fighter from legs to hands. Look at that.
That was nice.
2 points to 1. Thigh kicks 1, roundhouse kick to the face is 2 points, and that's just a fast kick.
And they're looking here.
Kevin Lim's employing a good strategy, and that's just an unfortunate try for a spinning kick that
sent him on the floor. It has meant that he's down on points now, so Kazbek goes for the grab. There's a kick to the torso.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Great punching.
What a flurry.
Great punching.
Well, he found him, and he found him a lot, and that's really pushed him ahead. So
you have to believe that Russia knows that their teammate threw some great punches yesterday, so they can rely on some hands. Wow.
That's great.
Spinning back kick to the face.
It's a move that takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of... Well, look at these hands. He just doesn't seem to get tired, and he's really putting the pressure on Kevin Lim. And he's done enough here with 7 seconds left. Kazbek Mamaev, takedown or not, it's not going to make any difference to the outcome of this round, and of course, the fight itself.
You know, it's always tough, Jeeves. You know, it's always tough when you draw someone like Russia, you draw China, you draw Iran, you draw Turkey, your first round, and here you have France, strong fighter, drawing, you know,
a good fight,
obviously
as you said.
a contender.
Yeah. As you can see here, Kevin Lim was really not out of it. He was trying his best to push in with punches and kicks, but every time he went forward, those spaces he was trying to occupy was already occupied by 1, 2, maybe 3 hands, Russian hands. So Kazbek Mamaev, our first winner in the men's 65 kilo class for today, day 2. And he gets that as a 2-0 win. So still just that final bout in the women's 65 that has gone to a 3rd round. Good performance from Kazbek Mamaev. Next, it's Sri Lanka taking on Italy. And that's Sampath Rajapaksha for Sri Lanka taking on Antonio Caponigro from Italy. Italy's going to be fighting in the red, and Sri Lanka fighting in the black. That's going to be coming up now.
That's a long name.
It's a long name. And I've taken the 2 key ones from it: Niranja, Sampath, Senevaratna, Rajapaksha, Mudi and Salaga. That's it. So
I bow to you.
As you can imagine, I've taken the first 2 because if you kept saying the whole name, well, you'd run out of round time. So
I think I'll stick with Naranja or Sri Lanka.
Yeah, there you go. That should do it. So Naranja just paying respect to the late Thai. Antonio Caponigro ready for action.
So here's a case where either country probably doesn't know what to expect from their fighter, from their opponent here. So you see a little bit of cautiousness from both fighters.
Well, Niranja is the bigger fighter, just slightly, and look at that, tries a big kick to start off with, doesn't connect. Antonio just too close to the edge.
And his coach is happy that he held on.
Well, he gets caught again.
It's like fighting a mountain for Antonio. There's a height difference here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's
there
how
you
you
go.
do it. You catch the long leg and you spin it round, and you get your first significant points on the board.
And you can be sure he knows that Sri Lanka is going to throw that kick up again, so he needs to keep that sort of tucked away in his memory. Wow.
It looked like a little bit more of a slip, really.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a thigh kick, and he ran into a tall guy.
Well, however it goes, Naranja is using that kick well enough that he is just shading it. Well, it's actually very equal. Antonio has been called by a couple of judges, so really everything to play for and fight for in this round.
Soon someone will be admonished to actually initiate, and there you go.
Yeah. That's exactly as we were saying beforehand. You can't run away in Sanda. What a thumping punch.
Look at that.
You can hear that literally in the top row. And that must have hurt even with the padding.
Yeah,
Wow,
you see
very
Sri Lanka
impressive.
trying to throw some whale makers there. He's holding and punching. Judge won't be happy with that.
Yeah.
Call it break 3 times.
Another clench. Wow, that was close. Nothing to call between these two fighters in points.
And most of that's the second time they're punching after the platform referee, and he's giving him an admonition. Oh,
well,
actually a penalty. No penalty. No.
Well, you don't need
overruled by the head table.
You don't need specialist training to know what pointing to the ears means. Listen to the ref. Very difficult to do when you're in the middle of a fight.
With Tai Chi music going on over there, right?
And the headdress, you're right, it's going to be tough. So close, though. It looks like Antonio Caponegro has managed to fight his way to that first round.
Wow.
He was behind on points, and it was just a couple of really good punches at the right time, but look at that.
As you can see, one judge even still scored Sri Lanka, but look at that.
Incredible.
1 point difference, the biggest 2-point difference. So,
well, the shorter fighter, as you see here, and this is how he did it. He managed to catch that leg. That's
2 points there. He's still standing, so that's the difference between winning.
Yeah, exactly. It was that one takedown that made all the difference, and that's what they're going to be very happy with, his coaches, as you can see. And as for Naranja, well, hard hitting. And
look, you see his coaches, they're not really sure what happened.
Yeah.
But for Sri Lanka, he can take the same fight there. He's just got to stay ahead on points.
That's right, and he's a big hitter. And the good thing about Naranja from Sri Lanka is he's, during that round, he wasn't afraid to go forward, even after his leg was taken down. Now let's see how this fascinating second round is going to turn up, because again we have two fighters that know they did well enough in the first round and they can build upon that here.
Italy knows I can win this fight. If I won that round, I can win another round. Sri Lanka knows, if they looked at the score, this was a close scoring round.
And again Naranja comes in, he gets caught in the face, and that's early points that are spread again, but just a point each.
It's a case where Sri Lanka got that roundhouse kick for 2 points.
Yeah, it could be crucial.
This is what he needs to do to sort of rack up those points, because that's exactly what Italy did to edge out that round. Look
Antonio
at that.
thought it was going high, it connected torso, and that's really the difference between them now. And I wonder if, look at this,
Look
it's
at
all
this
out
exchange,
close.
that's right.
Wow, the scoring's looking really interesting here. That flurry of punches.
They're a technique apart in some cases, you know? One score apart. It's a good jab.
Still nothing to really call it. Just one of the judges has kept a 3-point differential between them. Two of them now. Naranja looking to lift Antonio. And this time both of them listening to the judge and the referee.
This is 40 seconds with Sri Lanka. If he's able to continue to edge, we're in a third round. But you can see Italy is not giving up any ground here.
Exactly. How's it going to go? 20 seconds left on the clock. The clenches have stopped. It's still open more.
But look at that. Just a matter of a couple of punches.
Yeah, and
roundhouse kick that
immediately
just scored for Italy.
You're up ahead. This is a good round for Antonio, and he's going to take the fight with this. And you'd have to feel sorry for Niranja.
Actually, we have Black winning in 3.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah,
in fact, this is going to be very, very.
Oh, he just edged out with that. Just edged out. Look at that tie.
Yeah, look at that. So that has to be the closest fight that we've seen so far.
For sure.
And it just goes to show you, in the end, he wins it and he's standing up. I think he was possibly wondering whether he was going to fight a third round, but he's edged it out. And again, you've got a fighter that was smaller, that was taking a great many punches, but still managed to connect where it counts and pick up the points.
His opponent couldn't throw him. He made sure that he didn't get any easy points for throwing him. But in that last 3 seconds of the fight, we had a judge score 6-6, and that's what made the difference in the tie.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you how close it can be as we move on to our next bout. Still 65 kilograms, Sanda. It is Brazil's Eric Pereira Mendes, and he's going to be fighting in the red against Rafael Tavadiev. Azerbaijan. Another flag, another country has graced the historic Lion and the 13th World Wushu Championships 2015, which is what you're watching wherever you are around the world.
Chiefs, this is our first fighter from Azerbaijan.
It is our first, yeah. Strangely enough, there are no hometown Indonesian fighters fighting in this morning session for Sanda.
Not at all.
We have had a lot of, have I missed one? No.
Nope, not at all.
No. So, but we have seen the likes of Bermuda, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, still to come Portugal.
Russia, we saw.
Armenia as well. And we're underway with the Mendes-Tavadiev bout. And this is going to be fast as well, Tony.
You look at Azerbaijan, he's ready to get in there. Both fighters. In the first 20 seconds, really trying to size up their opponent to figure out what's possible here, not giving away too much ground. We're into the first 30 seconds and no points, just earned some points there from some handwork.
It's just the first 3 points. You're right, they're slowly creeping on the board now. Oh, great leg movement.
What we can see from Azerbaijan already is that he has quick hands. Look at that, straight punches, no wild hooks, going straight to the face.
Great takedown defense. Blocked it, blocked the moment.
You see Brazil trying to figure out what to do.
I'm looking for openings. And Azerbaijan, as you said, Rafael looking ready to mix it up toe-to-toe if he needs to. And that fighting spirit has put him ahead in the points.
Neither man willing to give up any ground in that clinch, so we haven't seen any throws yet. Look at the way Azerbaijan works the ring just out of the reach of that jab.
Yeah, but still keeping central enough to not encourage the fall off. Wow, that was a big move for Brazil. It was countered nicely.
If Brazil can hang on, that roundhouse kick just edged Azerbaijan ahead. And there's a penalty for clinching. Brazilian fighter not really sure where that came from, but that penalty
Yeah.
That penalty and the roundhouse kick
Have put
just
Azerbaijan.
that's
yeah.
right.
Have put Rafael Tarvediev well ahead in this first round. 3 seconds left. You can hear the beeper going, and it's a quick flurry for points, but it's definitely going to be heading to Azerbaijan. They're going to be very happy.
That fight just switched winners in the last 15 seconds of the fight.
As we've seen on a couple of occasions today as well. And a lot of people are going to remember Antonio Caponegro for coming through.
For all the judges, please be seated.
And so, all scored 2-6, 0-9, 5-8, 5-6, 2-5. The judge calls the round winner black. And there he is on your screen right now. Just so far so good for Azerbaijan's quest at the 13th World Wushu Championships. And as the referee steps into the ring and calls the fighters in.
Our referee from Hong Kong in the ring.
So Azerbaijan in the black with the advantage here. I wonder if they'll...
Uphill climb for Brazil to get a round back.
Eric Pereira Mendez has a lot to do. Fancy footwork and big styles will get in there.
Good hook, good punches to score. Interesting though, not all judges scored him on the punch.
Well, I think they probably thought it was blocked, not connected. No, really, it's got to be Eric Pereira asking the questions here if he wants to get back in this. As we've pointed out today, not really the sport which you can stand off because they'll come and find you.
That's right.
But you can play the, well, you can conserve energy. That's what you can do.
So here we have the situation where we have Brazil in the ring and Brazil on the lei tai. Both countries represented in both events here at the World Championships.
Now that's more like it from Eric Pereira Mendez, looking to cause some pain, possibly disorientate Rafael a little bit so he can come in with a different combination. He does need something that big, you'd have to say.
And he just got a couple of easy points on that slip, but this is where Brazil really needs to capitalize and stay ahead on points because his opponent, there's a thigh kick.
A huge kick, well connected, and that has put him ahead at a key part in the round.
But this is where he needs to stay ahead. He's got 40 seconds to make it to a third round. If he can keep his energy up. Hey, Black just...
Wow, scoring big on those kicks. And that may have got him that third round.
Black just used that push kick to get him 2 points. But this is where Mendez needs to make sure that he doesn't give up any ground in the last 12 seconds to get himself into a chance for the fight by moving into the third round. He knows that he's close, but he doesn't know where he is in terms of points.
I think both fighters are looking like they're going to settle for that third now.
I think so. Look at...
Yep. And we go to another deciding round.
So here's where we get to see which fighter has the stamina, right?
Yeah.
We know that Brazil is some adrenaline rush because he just put himself back in the match.
That's right. He needed that round, and he played it, or fought it, extremely well.
We just saw that awesome thigh kick.
Well, that was the thing.
There you go.
That. It was clean, it was connected, it could be heard all the way up to the roof. And that's going to have made him a little bit more confident. Now let's see if he can break down Rafael Tarvediev, who for a second near the end of that round thought, well, you know what, we're going to leave it for a third. He does look a little bit more tired now. Looking at his corner.
His corner is reminding him of how strong his hands are. They didn't see a lot of punches there. Get those hands in. So let's see what each of them take away from their respective corners in this deciding round.
And it really is about, as you said, energy conservation and stamina. That could play a huge difference here. No more running out with the fast flurry. It's going to be make it to the end. The last thing you want to do Wow, just as I said that. What a takedown. And
2
solid
points
2
on the
points.
board. That's right.
And here the Brazil fans now in chorus.
As a good roundhouse kick. You see Azerbaijan really trying to work his hands a lot more. Rafael knows his hands can score some points for him. That thigh kick is working from Brazil. Thigh kick, and they each exchange 1 point for the takedown and the thigh kick. Look at how close those scores are, Chief.
Yeah,
First
exactly.
30 seconds.
Just a point between them now in this third and deciding round. Possibly the closest fight we've seen today. 1 minute, 20 seconds left.
Again, the judge having to initiate the
Aggression,
fighting.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, that was a key punch that was thrown by Eric Pereira Mendez. It didn't land.
He got a roundhouse kick in there that scored him 2 points from some of the judges. He's trying to connect. He's really trying to connect with some punches. That might be the deciding factor for him if he can get more action out, because the judges are looking to see where's the fighting. Look at that push kick.
Great push kick.
But as you can see, that was one technique. That wasn't one followed up by a few others. Both of them, really, that thigh kick. We're down to one technique each,
That was
right?
so important for Mendez to get that in, though. He was just trailing and just shading it now. So it's all up to Rafael to make these last 30 seconds shine if he's going to take this round and the bout.
Last 30 seconds here.
No point standing off now.
You'll see the referee goading someone on to fight. There's Mendez trying to get in. Nothing landed.
And he's still managing to keep that advantage. 15 seconds left for Rafael.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it's a huge takedown.
What a loss there. And we are tied on at least 4 of our judges here.
And we were just saying this yesterday. Is it going to be those 2 points from the one judge that makes a difference here? If Rafael can get a couple of punches in, I don't know if he knows it was that close.
Look at
that. He's won it.
Look at this.
5-5, 7-7, 6-6, 5-5. It's the 8-6 that calls it in the end. 2 punches. 2 punches. One Muslim Salikov, an entire fight. Well, 2 punches have won.
You talk,
basically.
You talk about a happy fighter there. If you saw his reaction at the end of that, way too close.
Way too close. You're
and you have to expect that Azerbaijan is disappointed in that.
But a very close fight for the neutral. And as I said, it's the difference of 2 clean punches winning everything. And that has been the minimum margin that we've seen so far for victory within a round.
This is a tough loss. This is a tough loss for someone, and coaches also.
So our next match coming up, Turkey versus Portugal. Another, you just saw Andre Felipe Guimarães da Costa from Portugal is fighting in the black, and Savas Bekar from Turkey is fighting in the red. I wonder if this is going to go down to 2 punches as well, but I think the point is, Tony, that those 2 punches or a clear side kick or a clear roundhouse can come at any point during the fight and then just last in
that launched him into the next round, right? We have a very deep 65 kilogram category.
Yes.
You look at all of the fights.
That's right. In fact, if I'm right, there are 28 individual fighters that have come from around the world. I'm sorry, I haven't got the exact amount of nations. I'll have that for you tomorrow. But there are so many of them, as we've seen. A new one here, Portugal, have their flag on the main
This might be our first fight from Portugal,
yep,
right?
Yep, it is. And 7 seconds in, KG start.
Off platform.
Off platform.
This is Turkey controlling the center of the lei tai again. Huge Turkey contingent here.
As you'd imagine, yeah. Well, look at that.
You see the aggression from the fighter from Turkey.
It's good to see how Andre Felipe Costa just literally didn't move when he was being pushed around. He just held his ground.
This is where these fighters have learned, even if they are not very experienced in throwing, to neutralize the throw by lowering their body weight.
Leaning in.
That's what you see, that's right. You'll see a lot of fighters stretch their right hand down into the groin area of the other fighter just to
make
that's
sure
a lot of fight from Portugal. He just neutralized a takedown from Turkey.
Well, this is good action, it's good spirit, and it's good fighting from both fighters, I can tell you, but not the highest of points coming from each of them. It's very close at the moment, just a point between them. Look at that flurry, all hands, and then on the edge.
That's sensational ring work by Portugal to be on the edge and hang off there.
That was...
You can bet that Turkey wanted that push off, and he's going for another, you see.
Well, edge of the seat stuff. Now those two push-offs have...
We're into 1 minute of the fight, and we're down in under 5 points. No fighter has more than 5 points.
It's low scoring, but it's high.
There's a nice
action.
takedown
That was a
from
beautiful
Turkey.
takedown, and that, by going to Turkey, means that Turkey are now ahead in this round. I wouldn't say well ahead, just ahead. There's a good punch.
He's got good punch coming, stepping in. He realized he's got room for punches.
And those punches have really put him ahead.
That's right. You'll probably see some more of them coming up. There you go.
But again, look at that.
Once he realized his opponent is open for those punches, why not?
So while Portugal are looking to just hold their ground and not be thrown out the lei or thrown to the floor, Turkey is countered. Well, that's exactly what he was trying to avoid. This time doesn't work for him. Good strategy.
So you just pointed it out. So much of the fight from Portugal was avoiding a takedown, avoiding a push-off. The strategy to actually earn points was what he was lacking, and it was a matter of another take. He's pushed off in the last 15 seconds of the round.
In the end, the round was decided by 2 fall-offs, but I think what was really great to see was that Turkey was not just relying on those, that as soon as Savas would see Andre looking as to where the takedown's coming from, he'd start opening up with the fists, he'd start opening up with the punches.
You saw Turkey really use his hands and realize, wow, these punches are scoring here.
Exactly.
I've been scoring with everything else, but the punches are scoring.
Now, as we saw in the last fight, we have been praising the judging system and how it can be universally viewed by everyone, but if you just caught the edge of the ring, which you may not have in the last fight, the Brazil coach literally stood up and pointed with one finger. He said, "You won this fight by 2 points." Throughout, as we get into the second round, 2 minutes, and already we've had a fallout.
That's within the first 3 seconds. Turkey has Portugal off the lei, and he has him down again. That's
wow, just with 9 seconds gone, and there's a 4-point lead for Portugal.
Portugal
Turkey,
might have just scored those points. Oh no, Haifong down first.
Yeah. So even with all of this, Turkey's still streaking ahead. That's the biggest scoring that they've had over Portugal.
Here's a difference in strategy. You will see Turkey take the fight to Portugal.
Either in clinch form or in fists.
We have 3 judges that have still not seen any clean technique from Portugal yet. So that's the story of the fight. How does he get himself on the board with clean techniques, not just avoiding?
Avoiding, yeah.
There he tried.
He tried that, but the leg was snapped up. Meanwhile, Turkey scores again with another punch. Universal 7 points from all 5 judges right now for Turkey, and just 3 points collective for Portugal. Now, both
no
down,
score.
no score.
Yeah.
Thought so.
Referee went to the head judge's table to see, but what happened is Turkey had gone down off balance, but now he's pushed him off. He's pushed him off.
And he's pushed him off, and that's the second fall off and the second round. And if I'm right, Tony, that's both rounds in the end decided by a double fall off. So all that technique, though it did help, well, Savas Becker is going to have to come up with
the technique in this instance advantages Turkey because he has to fight another round. Yes, he won both rounds by pushing him off, but where does he get his experience there at the fight?
Yeah, exactly. So we keep moving through, scrolling through, and now we have the US, Jorge Cortez, take on Jafar Shizdadeh Toproglu. Yes, I did get that right.
You did get that right.
Yes, there are a few, but as we go through the week, Jafar versus Jorge.
Just to show you, Gene, I still remember my years serving as a ref for one of the coaches there for Iran, one of the very strong fighters. So you know that they have deep experience there in their coaching. Iran's a powerhouse, so you expect to see them coming out. Probably for Jorge, this is his first time on the international stage from the U.S. We just don't have that many fighters in the U.S. that have deep experience on the Lei Tai. So not only that, but he's fighting very experienced team from Iran.
Well, the great thing about U.S. sports and when they do enter into sports is they do progress and get better. Right now, probably a bit too much. In the last Wushu World Championships, the U.S. were 19th in the medal table with 1 silver, 2 bronze, and Iran second in the table after China, 7 gold and 3 bronze. Amazing performance from them. So this should be favoring Jafar from Iran. Let's see how it goes. He's fighting in the black and Jorge in the
He's got a bit of a height advantage, but let's see what the fighters bring in terms of strategy. You can see that he's quick and he was able to take the U.S. down.
So early point for Iran.
There's a punch. There are a couple punches, couple jabs for the U.S., but not scored.
Yeah, so that was very strange. That looked like a very clean
push
contact.
kick.
That's another punch. That's definitely been scored. So, yep, Cortez.
Perhaps people having trouble seeing because he is a shorter fighter.
Yeah, and the referee could have been in the way. Referee, of course, circles all but ahead in the fight.
There's
now, Cortez.
Clean takedown.
And that's a clinical takedown. Very close, Tony. It's very close.
Cortez is holding up, but you have a sense that Iran has a lot more left there in terms of technique. A lot of clinching here. It's a low-scoring fight for the first 45 seconds, but there again, that's Haifeng barely going down first.
Currently, Cortez moving ahead by about 2 points. Nothing too serious for Jafar to try and combat in this last minute of the round. In fact, he's just gone ahead now.
Well, most of his points have been earned by takedowns. So he still can show us something with his hands and kicks. He just did. And there's Jorge having trouble reaching that other leg as a shorter fighter to try and hook. Look at that roundhouse kick. That was caught. So it shouldn't have been scored. It was just caught.
Maybe he will pull back.
Look at that leg.
That is probably the closest you'll get to a WWE slam. There's very little technique in WWE.
There's another. Almost every few seconds we're seeing Iran able to take red down. We haven't been able to see any clear strategy from the U.S. fighter to really get in there. It's a mountain he's trying to move over there.
True, the bigger fighter, but with those takedowns, the points have been flowing in for Iran. Now cleanly ahead by all 5 judges and hit double figures as well. So good opening performance. Maybe a lack of technique, but whatever needs to win in round 1.
Iran just hosted a big full contact championships a few months ago where they invited some countries in.
That's one of the key things you can see in the development of sports is having these kind of tournaments around. Well, with 1 second left, it's got to be the likes of Iran. And it's interesting you should mention that, Tony, of course, because some of the histories that I've read of some of the US fighters, very much as we talked about earlier, I think before the event itself, based around fight clubs and fight schools. So most tournaments are in that. But as you get more developed, you get these national championships that turn up in Iran and obviously in Thailand and China as well. And that really makes a difference because that's where the fight clubs integrate and fight each other.
Absolutely. This is the biggest difference of allowing your teams, your emerging athletes to have experience with top-level fighters from other countries.
Yeah. And that really is, as we've seen, the melting of styles that goes through. There's always the backbone and structure of Wushu and Sanda in the middle of it, but you see fighters favoring various different techniques. And I can tell you one thing, that Jafar might be ahead in that round, but he's getting the big fan, the big towel fan. Maybe he's feeling the heat.
His coaches are comfortable with the fact that he pretty handily won that round.
Yeah.
You don't see any...
Didn't have to get out of first gear.
That's right. You don't see any concern on their face. They know, they've studied. They know the fighters coming from these countries, and they know that this guy is a first-time fighter on the international platform. He's sturdy, but he's not really mounting any attack that makes a difference.
So goes for the legs there, goes for the takedown. Now this is going to be close, because Iran is now forced to come out with a few more styles and techniques.
And
he's thrown.
He got his first. But you see, his strategy is immediately to go back and get the point.
Yeah, with essentially the takedown. So he is staying ahead, but that one clear takedown from Jorge Cortez has got to have given him a little bit of possible low blow there. Well, he's probably going to need more time than that. That's the trick with low blows. That was a massive meeting. Good follow-up kick there. And Iran beginning to open up now.
This is what we mean. Iran had techniques that we hadn't seen yet. And that forcible counting for the US was actually...
Well, there's still plenty of time to fight within this round. 1:17 left means that this 5-point advantage that's currently being held by
Wow,
Iran,
that's a beautiful, beautiful throw.
That's a huge shui.
Both feet. So you see, really Jorge is out of a little steam here, and probably as well strategy. At will, Iran is able to score. And I wouldn't be surprised if the fight is stopped at some point. He's getting
because
up pretty slow.
A little bit one-sided.
Yeah, look at, he's just protecting this point.
It looks as if Cortez is out of steam. And now it is pot shots by the looks of it. There's a couple of punches and the big takedown again. And I'm thinking that as it is now totally one-sided, at least a 12-punch and point advantage and a spinning back kick as well.
You see,
and it looks,
2 points for red. The fight's going to be called in the last 10 seconds. That may be the only reason they don't.
Wow.
That's his second forcible counting in the round. No,
so
second in the round.
It looks like it's going to be called. It's over.
Yep.
It's done, and unlucky for Jorge Cortez and the USA, as it was just too much of a pounding he was taking in that second round.
We're at a differential of 2 to 22 points and scored by one of the judges. Judge 5, it's a difference of 20 points.
Yeah.
Tells you that there is a...
It was just that one takedown, that one beautiful takedown that came from Cortez that managed to make the difference, and you'll just see the scores as they come up now. Still great to see so much respect, and that was the kind of takedown that Jafar was coming up with. As I said, what's important is to see the point differential that called that. The forcible counts is what it's all about. That's why this fight was stopped. But 22-2, 15-2, 11-2, 15-2, 17-2. as we look at our next match, Macau's Chai Long and Tunisia's second fighter coming out today.
We've seen quite a few fighters from Tunisia.
Khalil Machouri, if I'm right, is right. Yes, Machouri. I don't speak Tunisian, so that's the closest we're going to get there. Khalil is going to be his name for it. And the round winner, black, called as we thought. So, Jafar moves through to the next round, and that is...
That was our first fighter from Iran today, right?
I think it was, yes.
A couple of fighters from Tunisia already.
A couple of fighters from Vietnam, first from Portugal, first from Azerbaijan, first from Bermuda. But yes, Tunisian fighters, I can tell you, this afternoon, well, this afternoon is literally the whole world. We've got South Africa, we've got the Ivory Coast, Czech Republic, Kyrgyzstan, Sri Lanka, Great Britain, Spain, Jordan, Mexico. That's all coming up this afternoon in the second session as we are coming to the last three fights of the morning session. As you can see, it is Chai Long from Macau taking on Khalil Machouri from Tunisia. And into round one. Khalil in the black.
Look at that kick from Tunisia right off the bat, first couple of seconds.
Good to set off on 2 points. And Chai Long in the red.
So this is where the fighter gives you a heads up, gives the other fighter, I just scored in the first 10 seconds, 2 kicks to you. So.
Yep, already 4 points up. And Chai still looking for a common score from all the judges. One of the judges has scored him for 2 points. Oh, wow. It's a great performance from Chai to stay in the Lei Tai then. Oh, wow. What do you make of that, Tony?
Both fighters expending a lot of energy for a throw and to hold on to make sure that they're not off the Lei Tai together. If I go off, you're going off too.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm going to go, you're going to go if you want to go that way. That's essentially it.
These are 65-kilogram fighters, and look at the clinch. Their clinch is probably tighter than any of the clinches that we've seen.
And they roll off into the softer yellow surrounding area of the Lei Tai. So, can you imagine? It's an easy, wow. I was about to say it's an easy thing to land on, but not at that.
At least the third time, both of them off the platform. But, you know,
how is this
Tunisia got a roundhouse kick in there.
How's this translated to points? Well, Tunisia is still edging ahead.
At least the fourth time we have. So, not a high-scoring round as we move into the first minute.
Yeah.
Many of the breaks have been due to being off the platform. But there's some punches and some kicks finally.
So now we're seeing a little bit more open. Sanda in the middle of the Lei Tai. Perhaps both fighters getting a bit too tired of the old climbing back in.
Both fighters have good speed, good hands, but that's at least the 5th time out.
That is the 5th time out, but this, as I said, this policy of hanging on to the fighter has done both of them well because it is still winnable for either one from here.
Absolutely.
That's how it's beneficial to both.
So here we can see that Tunisia is earning a lot of points, even though there's not a lot of technique that we've seen in a minute and 30 seconds of the fight. So it just means his precision has really worked to his advantage. He's double the digits here of Macau.
Now it's another clench that the ref is going to split up, yes. Call to fight again, and they open with kicks.
There's a side kick there.
Well, that kick has taken
nice throw.
Khalil into double digits. And with 19 seconds to go, there's only one judge that has scored him out of double digits. Looks like he might be taking this. That's going to set him up nicely for round 2.
Both fighters exchanging roundhouse kicks there.
Well, I think Khalil knew at the end, as soon as he heard the beeper, that he was ahead. I'm sure that his coach was communicating that to him. And as the gong sounds...
So here's a case where,
No, go ahead.
Both fighters have been pretty active, but look at the difference in the point values for the action from Tunisia versus Macau. So here's a case where coaching around how you make up this difference is essential.
Yeah, especially if you find yourself, I'm assuming 7, 8 points, which, remember, people watching wherever you are, equates to a punch. One punch to the face is a point.
That's right.
So therefore, if you're 7 points behind and you've got 30 seconds left, one way of catching that up is if you catch a 7-hit combo to the face, but it's going to be hard with defenses.
It's hard. It's one punch equaling 1, but 3 kicks gives you 6 punches. Takedown.
Yeah.
These fighters, being taken down has been a struggle. So you aren't going to win your points there, but Tunisia has demonstrated that he can earn some points from his kicks. He's got fast legs. Macau has fast legs too, but they just haven't been scoring in the same way.
And of course, it is about energy, expending energy as well.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. Immediate points for Khalil from Tunisia.
There's Macau. Macau got the takedown, but by rolling off the lei tai, lost the points.
Wow, great
what a
kick
great
to the head.
Roundhouse kick.
That's
There you saw G's an attempt for.
so a little bit more open here in the second round. Caught in a clinch again, but nicely centered in the middle of the platform. Good to see. The last few bouts, there's been a lot of spirit from these fighters. And that's going to be credited to Khalil. So Khalil Matroui is nicely ahead here.
Macau was finally successful in getting him off, but he's been working on that for a little while now.
Well, that's the thing I was just about to say. You can take great satisfaction from your one move working and then look at the clock and there's 5 seconds left. So really have to mix it up as much as you can. And definitely, though, that fall off has helped his point score.
Except that Tunisia just closed that difference with a good push kick.
That's right, that has
And another side kick.
And it's just those
Actually, he just won the round because Tunisia's off twice. But Tunisia's ahead on points.
Again, we've seen that 2 or 3 times this morning, actually, that the fighter that put more in, that came out, is looking very aggrieved as they sit down. As we see here, a lot of action, but in the end, it's 1-1. We have another deciding round. So there was just a one deciding round for the women's categories that kicked off this morning's session, but we're seeing a lot of deciders here.
You see the disappointment in Khalil's face.
That's
because
exactly
he had
what I was talking about, yeah.
He had to fight on his gloves to win in every way.
And it was just the second fall off that has
This is when his coaches have to remind him he was ahead in points, he can win this fight, he has the tools to win the fight. This case, what did we see in Bermuda, and their fighter making sure that they control the ring and not lose the fight by the push off.
And that's exactly what we saw. That was Krista Dyer taking on Hergy Bakyadan, who was completely out of breath for the last 2 rounds, still came back.
There again, he started off the fight with a kick, started off the round.
And just rolls with the takedown. And that's a classic example of how no points have been scored so far. 0-0 to both off 5 sets of eyes. Those are the judges. Still, well, now 1 point awarded to Khalil. Fighting in the black, remember.
Look at that exchange of kicks. And he's tried to push him off again and just backfired on him. You might even find Tunisia trying to just score an easy win on the ring.
Wow, that's revenge.
He just did.
Well, that is
fight's over.
Incredible karma. The fact that he was looking so dejected just a minute and a half ago, thinking, how could I have been you know, so active but still lost the round, but then finds the opportunity in the third round to do exactly the same thing.
Less than 30 seconds into a third round.
So Khalil Matroui from Tunisia, 2-1 from the double fall-off rule. And as you can see, winner in black. So now we have talking again of the international quality of Wushu. Sweden with their second fighter, Johnny Tuma, and against
Belarus. We have someone from Belarus.
I think that's Belarus. Yauhan Sliapsu. And before everyone's home thinking, how does he know all this stuff? I did go through these names beforehand.
Well, I'm sitting here admiring.
Well, as I said, Kung Fu is strong. Yes, I think when it comes down to it, these two, this will be the penultimate fight for the morning session.
Good chance that Belarus and Sweden haven't fought together. So both, if
But
this is Belarus.
Again, yeah, it's the international quality of it all. Well, still, Yauhan Sliapsu is in the black and Johnny Tuma is in the red. Sweden, of course, did have someone in the ring yesterday. Sebastian Espe didn't do too well.
See thigh kicks coming from both of these guys. Some high, some not so high, and attempts at the takedown. Both guys not quite sure what they need to do to get in.
This has led to Jonathan Tuma from Sweden getting the early advantage in the points. Wow, that was power stuff. Well, less than a minute to go and nothing to differentiate these two fighters.
No. Both of them really trying to find some room with their legs. Even more so our black fighter fighter in black who seems to have a little bit more of a reach. He's trying to use it to get in for the thigh kick, and his hands spinning back fist to the gloves.
But again, very active, it's good to see, and very close as we go under the 30-second mark.
Some jabs from both fighters. You can see that it takes Red just a little bit more effort to get in there, but has a good takedown.
A key takedown for Johnny Tuma.
It's just edging,
Just edging, yeah.
There's a punch.
Well, this is too close to call at the moment.
Sure, those thigh kicks earning, and no. Oh.
Well, that looked like a very dangerous maneuver at the end. And, you know, it was too close to call, but if you look at that, that's exactly how close it was, and literally just a few punches here and there could have made all the difference. So the Belarusian fighter against the Swedish fighter, and it goes to the black.
So we're in for round two. No crystal clear strategy on either fighters.
Side, yeah. Is that something you'd expect from countries like Sweden and Belarus to be a little bit more cautious about the strategy they play?
I think both fighters were not sure what they were going to face. Now that they're in the fight, and you could see in the fight, Belarus relied on that thigh kick to edge out.
Yeah.
you know, at least 6 of those points are from thigh kicks that he was able to flick out and with the longer leg reach.
Well,
you see, that's the strategy. Jab, jab, thigh kick. Easier for him to get there. Sweden has a little farther to go, but has good hands for the punch. It's just a matter of getting in.
Wow, that was a great.
He just made the most of reversing the takedown on Belarus.
A little bit more leg work from both fighters, and the points just being shaded by Sweden.
Sweden has fast hands. Once he gets inside, he has fast hands.
And it's just getting inside. I think he's a little bit wary of that sweep distance now.
That's what happens. You know, he gets in striking distance, and Belarus has a thigh kick there. He gets in punching distance. Belarus has straight punches that are coming in. So
he managed to dodge that one, but right now, yes, he's just falling behind a little bit. Johnny Tuma, got about a minute left.
That just almost cost him, but he has strong lower body strength.
Wow, the reverse.
No score. Admonished by the referee.
So 50
That's
seconds
a case of Belarus earning some points. You see the activity, and
he gets the throw out as well.
So what happens, the fighters are sort of waiting for the referee to call break, and in that case, the referee is allowing the fight to continue, and he
just to see where it goes.
That's right. He's trying to get it back.
Immediately straight off, and in fact, that was such a powerful throw off, it almost hit the judges.
We're pretty close. It's a huge stadium, but all of the areas are pretty close.
A very good atmosphere, actually, and the fans are getting bird's eye view.
So
right now, it looks like Belarus is going to be walking away with this.
Sure. We have 30 seconds. See those individual points for that thigh kick.
That would have to be the defining difference here.
That's right. Sweden just threw up a roundhouse kick. It just didn't have enough on it for him to score with it.
A couple of quick punches there have put Belarus into double digits.
For sure, when he stands toe-to-toe, Belarus has hands. Both guys have good hands. You saw the clean punches from Belarus in his reach.
Well, that is a 2-round win for Johan Sliapsu from Belarus. And all in all, it was just a good use of punches, kicks, and the takedown as well, as you see here.
Belarus made good use of his legs for points with thigh kicks. You can see the height difference also helping Belarus a little bit. You had Sweden in there to take care of the throw, and it's hard to maneuver that fighter. Both of these fighters threw up a really good fight.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. It's a good competitive fight. It's a tough loss for Sweden, but he fought a strong fight.
Well, they had Sebastian Espe also losing yesterday, so yes, Sweden would be happy with their performance, didn't come away with the result, and so we get to our final bout for the morning session. As I said, there are some 30 bouts, and ranging between 56, 65, and 70 kilograms in the afternoon. But for now, it is China's Zhu Jifu right there in the black. And, well, he looks like serious business, Tony. And he's taking on Narek Kripayan from Armenia, our latest country to join the cosmopolitan platform. And he's fighting in the red. Now, what's going to happen here, Tony?
Well, you can expect that China's prepared and over-prepared. This is Armenia's fight to take something to China to try and get an upper hand. You see him trying to really psych himself out. And you see how calm China is.
Well, I just saw Zhu Jifu give the martial fist to not just his opponent, but also the Chinese team that are right next to us as well. And
right here.
They reciprocated. It's a huge team. But look at this. Armenia looking for the fall-off, perhaps.
This is Armenia saying he has nothing to lose by going after the fight. He knows he has a strong fighter in China.
Right.
Showing some good hands. China hasn't given away anything as of yet. Score still 0-0, probably as we approach the first 30 seconds of the fight. There's a takedown from China.
And it was pretty much clinical takedown as well.
First should.
That was.
So Armenia still hasn't seen what type of hands China has, what type of kicks he has, but China has seen what happens in terms of the punching, and he's just sort of handled Armenia to take him down.
How strong he is in the shui jiao.
Sure.
He's thrown him down twice. He's got good points on the board. Now possibly going to open up with the hands. There's the kicks.
That. Now you get to see what's in his reserves. Armenia's putting the techniques out there, and he has to put the techniques out there because China's not giving up much. The only way he's going to find out what China has is to get some techniques out there.
Yeah.
It's a very different style.
And again, with all the Chinese fighters that have stepped onto the platform, a uniform growth of points by all 5 judges as they move through. Look at that. That's incredible. Strong performance here from Zhu Jifu. I can tell you his Chinese teammates, very impressed as well.
Good roundhouse kick, good counter roundhouse kick. I don't know if you noticed, he just blocked this guy's roundhouse kick that wasn't close enough, and he just stepped in with his own roundhouse kick. So he's able to manage the distance with the fighters and know where he's close enough to attack.
And turn transition from defense to attack.
Look at that combination. Look. He is showing us the difference between continuous movement. He just jumped and threw a roundhouse kick. And that's at the last seconds of the fight.
And if you look at the points, well, as I said, a continuous growth, all black, 11-2, 8-3, 8-3, 9-7, 10-4, and that is not getting out of first gear.
That's right. He's standing.
As you can see there, he just refuses to be thrown down, almost gets the reverse.
And he hooked a back leg. This technique is...
But also the landing as well, to land on that. And as you always see with Chinese teams here, just business as usual. There you go, they're just testing out as to how...
He hasn't sat down yet.
He hasn't sat down. That's right, I didn't actually notice that.
His coach is still talking to him about what else he can do, and they're trying to get some energy back in Armenia's legs too, because he has a fight ahead of him. You're fighting a strong country.
Exactly, and he hasn't sat down. You know, I'm actually watching him now. He hasn't sat down at all. I think his physical conditioning must be incredible. The Armenian fighter Narek Papayan has...
He took the fight up to another gear in the last 15 seconds of the fight, so clearly he has so much more in his reserves. Armenia is just gaining experience in this fight, and great to him for gaining experience in the
competition, I'm sure, with Armenian Wushu is still on its way up. Chinese Wushu has a lot to not only show but defend as well. And Zhu Jifu, well, we're looking forward to what he does later on in the week based on this. Again, just standing off really nicely and then coming in with the kicks.
He's going to show you a combination with his hands and feet pretty soon. It's all Armenia's techniques now, and they're out of reach. They're not scoring. There was that combination.
That's incredible that you can call those, Tony. Absolutely incredible. That's the life of Wushu for you.
Yeah, look at that. He has taken him down twice from his head.
Yeah. There's a lot of forearm strength. There's a lot of arm strength.
This is a shifting of the body weight. We've seen a lot of the takedowns from the hip. Both of his takedowns have been from the opponent's head and shoulders.
But lightning fast kicks as well. Almost Muay Thai quality kicks.
Look at that. He ran into a good straight left punch from China.
I can tell you with no shin guards that those shins coming in are going to hurt.
Do you notice that we don't see a lot of clinching? China has made sure to keep the difference, and he's making him bring a fight to him. He's not clinching. There's no need to clinch, and he's keeping the opponent from clinching him. He's working that roundhouse kick to the face. It's as fast as a jab.
He's in double figures already. He's got 40
seconds left. Look at that thigh kick we just heard up here.
Really opening up now.
Yeah, he knows. He has to practice for his next fight. He's a fighter that is throwing some techniques out, so he gets a chance to practice timing. You see him. Opponent throws a technique. He throws 3 more techniques back after that.
Well, he's scoring so magnificently in this round. not just double figures, but about to hit 20. And this will be our first match. Oh, if he connected there. In the last 10 seconds, he's got a shout to make it 20 in the last.
He's still fighting. He's practicing now. He doesn't need the points. He's training.
Yeah, totally. And you just saw the way he jumped back and managed to get back in. That was just incredible, Sanda, shown by Zhu Jifu. And our first 20-point round is going to come up. You should see there 21-6, 15-3, 14-2, 18-2, 16-0. And as you said, just training and still doesn't sit down.
You see our fifth judge didn't score any points for Rit.
Yeah. And that is, as you said, Armenia getting into the whole sport itself and the event. And as we declare the winner, which is Zhu Jifu, that brings to a close the opening session on the Sanda platform for day 2 of the 13th World Wushu Championships. We saw some great women's results. There's some great results from the Vietnamese fighters, especially Duan Thuy Hoang and Ho Tu Nguyen, but also a really struggling performance from Hergy Bakian to come through against Krista Dyer.
Sure.
And then, well, there was some great fights. Pereira Mendez against Rafael, Azerbaijan versus Brazil. And then Johnny Tuma tried his best against Yahan Stapsu, but what a performance from Zhu Jifu just now to round off the session. And that really just teases it up for the afternoon session. That's going to be kicking off at 2:30 local time in Jakarta, and that's the men's 56, 65, 70 kilograms classes. It's all going to be coming up later on, so join us for that. For now, this is Jeevan Sovanathan and Tony Sims closing out the morning session and saying goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
كنا واقفين هنا كده وكله ينزل لحد الفرقه كلها راكبه على جنب واحد. انت معتز عشان اللاعب اهو. يا باشا ده تليفونك بص بص عدل ما تبصش
hasil kompetisi sandanya bagus.
يا عم انت شريت فتحه هي افتحها كده كده اهو كده اهو ايوه كده ايوه صلى على النبي صلى على النبي صلى على النبي انا كمان بص
Kemarin dapat bunga dari siapa? Kemarin ada bunga dari siapa?
يا باشا خلاص اللي فات
Dari Sony itu Pak.
Gimana? Udah siap?
ها صور
Iya. Terus sekarang ada masalah Pak? Aceh.
Siapa yang akan menyerahkan?
Aceh udah
We kindly invite Mr. Antonio, Executive Vice President of the International Wushu Federation, Mr. Igeka Manila, the Chairman of the 13th World Wushu Championship Organizing Committee, Mr. Ki Yong-hui, the former Vice President and Executive Board Member of International Wushu Federation, Mr. Muraoka Kyuhei, the Executive Board Member of the International Wushu Federation, Mr. Ngakino, the Vice President of the Indonesian Wushu Association, Mr. Abdurrahman Akyus, the Executive Board Member of the International Wushu Federation. We kindly invite you to join us in the awarding stage.
Oh, we're just moments away now from the part of the World Championships that all the athletes who are participating here have dreamed of being a part of. Not everyone gets to take home a medal, of course, but all those hours down the gym, months before the championships got underway, this is what they've been dreaming of. We've got 12 medals to dish out in our second medal ceremony of the competition, and with me I have Mario Martinez. How was the action on mat 2 today?
It was great, Simon. We had both long weapon events this morning. We had men's staff and women's spear. Typically speaking, we found a lot of the dominant countries a repeat, but we had a couple of new up-and-comers have very strong performances that allow them to have podium finishes. You know, I don't know if the weather outside was a factor, but we did see some common mistakes throughout performances, maybe the humidity. A lot of it has to do with a lot of the grip required for the weapons. You know, that may be something that athletes may need to take under consideration in the following days with the weather here.
Are the athletes allowed to use, in other sports you've got resin that you can use, are you allowed to use that in
Yes, it's actually very common for spear athletes to use baby powder because it's a little bit slick and it allows them to be able to maneuver the spear a lot easier through their hands. And I do know that some athletes do tend to use grip chalk when they use staff, where it's a little bit more grip is required. Another addition that we saw that I typically haven't seen at previous World Championships is typically most staff athletes will use a wooden waxwood staff, and there was the creation of a composite staff that many athletes are using in China as a method to standardize competition. It isn't required here. It tends to be a lot stiffer and a lot more difficult to wield. There's a less risk of breakage, but we actually saw many being used in the staff event, which is very, very untypical of World Championships. So I believe it's due to the skill level increasing at a world level, and I think athletes are actually starting to be able to wield those staffs, you know, with any discernible difference from a wooden staff.
Well, as you know, we had the debut of the men's Dao. We also saw a variation in staffs. Some of them wood, some of them actually metal. So every variation seems to be on show here in Jakarta. We are just months away now. Straight sword. make it a double. Gold medalist yesterday. She didn't let anyone down. Defending champion. World Championships as well. Only that have some athletes excel in front of a home crowd and some absolutely fold. Seems to be the former of the latter. Here we go then. More good news for the host nation. Up come the girls. And as tradition dictates, we'll start with the bronze medal. Bronze this time going to Hong Kong. Jin Qian, 9.54. Silver yesterday, drops down to bronze today, but she medalled again. So a strong performance from the young lady from Hong Kong. Just 0.01. Separating her from the silver medal. Small margins in this sport. Silver medal going to Naoko Ichikisaki. 9.55. And as you can hear from the cheers inside the arena, the gold medal going to Linswell, 9.61. So she defends her title. That makes it a double this year on the Southeast Asian Games gold. Now added to that on home turf. That hard work certainly paying off, Mario.
Absolutely.
Time for the Indonesian national anthem. So 2 out of 2 for Linswell. Certainly public must be happy with that.
All the winners may leave the stage.
Living up to all the hype and the expectations. And breathe out now, relax. Job done. Don't forget, we do have a second session today, a little later on at 2:30. So the action coming thick and fast here in Indonesia. One down, 3 to go. Let's see who's up next. It's going to be the men's Dardao. Seems to be doing it mat for mat. So these medalists, historic, of course. The first time Sanda appears at the World Championships. And perhaps for many, a surprise winner. Again, just about ready to go.
The winners of Tao Women's Wushu are pleased to enter the stage.
Changing plans in. Originally it looked as though we were going to have the men's Dardao. First up, the men's Gunshu. So it's over to you, Mario.
Thank you, Simon. Very strong performances throughout the staff division. We had well over 35 competitors, all putting on very strong performances. But at the end of the day, we only have top 3 podium finishes.
The former Vice President and Executive Board Member of
We'll be announcing our podium finishers here in just a second. Some of these athletes have finished in the top 3 podium finishes at previous World Championships. Many repeat. In 3rd place, our bronze medalist is Sung Jae Cho from Korea. Our silver medalist is Chen Ming Wang from And in 1st place, a very experienced competitor from Russia, Vladimir Maximov. He's been here, he's competed many times. It's good to see him finish and go in 1st place. One of the more experienced athletes. Now for many of these guys, they have many more events coming up, so I'm sure you're going to be seeing a lot of strong performances from the 3 of these gentlemen.
Certainly never get tired of having a gold medal hung around your neck. See that, the pride on the face of the Russian. posterity with a few photos. And we now await the national anthem of Russia. Halfway there then. Two more medal presentations to go. On the scoreboard here, men's Dadao is announced. We'll see if that's the way it turns out. Other events where Russia is particularly strong, Mario?
Typically speaking, broadsword and staff. Changchuan is also one of their strong events, but I think, you know, when broadsword comes up, they're definitely going to field a strong couple, at least 2 or 3 competitors. We saw at least 1 or 2 last night in men's straight sword, but broadsword, the more aggressive, powerful movements of broadsword, I think they can execute extremely well. So when men's broadsword comes up, yeah, there will definitely be a strong field of competitors, at a minimum at least 2.
We certainly seem to have a fair-sized squad with them here in Jakarta. As I say, the next 3 gentlemen, if it is men's Dadao that's up next, have written themselves into the history books. Athletes from Macau, Singapore and Egypt making up the top 3. without giving too much away.
The winners of Taolu men's medal are pleased to enter the stage.
Again, it was a tight competition. We've seen plenty of those so far. .03 separating gold and silver, and just .01 separating silver from bronze.
Executive board member of the International Wushu Federation, accompanied by Mr. Martino, the Vice President of the Indonesian Wushu Association.
Various dignitaries coming up to deal out the just desserts. We start with the bronze. Chin Chi Fung from Singapore. 9.44. Silver going to Macau and Nok In Woo. 9.45 his score. And perhaps a little surprise, our gold medalist coming from Egypt. That man is Amir Abdel Tawab. 9.48. Very powerful display from the North African. Teammates overjoyed. His entourage to boots. Absolutely overjoyed when the score came up on mat 1. Looks almost surprised. Eyes glittering.
Thank you for Mr.
Loving the moment.
Amir.
I wonder how long he's dreamed about this. Well, just one to go now. By my reckoning, that's the women's Changshu.
All the winners may leave the stage.
No real surprises, you say, in the
No, there were some strong performers who previously have placed on the podium. it looks like we had a tie for third place, but the tiebreaker may have broken the tie. I only see 3 people lined up for the podium, so I believe that the tiebreaker was enforced, and we in fact have our final standings. Very strong performances from these 3 female athletes. Some new, some that you can expect strong performances throughout the championships. I know at least 1 or 3 have additional performances coming up.
And what do the judges use as a tiebreaker?
Typically, there's a couple of different methods used, but I believe the general one is the highest level, the athlete who has completed the highest level difficulty will be moved up. So, you know, as we talk throughout the competition, sometimes it pays off to attempt those more difficult combinations. They earn you a lot more points, but they're a lot more difficult to execute, and if you miss them, they can cost you a podium finish, or they can really, really shift around the placings. But again, at the end of the day, the benefit is higher level difficulty, more points, and it can be a factor in the final standings. And as you see here, that definitely was the case here.
Certainly a dynamic to take into consideration when building a routine.
And here we have our top 3 podium finishers. Our bronze medalist coming from Japan, Ayaka Honda. Our second place silver medalist, Thuy Dong from Vietnam. And our gold medalist, Xiao Xiao Lai from China. She had an extremely strong performance with a final score of a 9.71. To give you an idea of how high she scored, the second place was a 9.63. Huge performance.
China then living up to expectations. Second gold medal by my counts. Still behind Indonesia. A long way to go in these championships.
Please rise for the national anthem of China.
That just about concludes the first session on day 2 of the World Wushu Championships. But as I mentioned before, there's still plenty to come. We'll be back, Mario and myself, back here at about 2:30 local time in Jakarta for more wushu, top-class wushu at that. So see you then. Bye-bye.